right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Another steamy night across the bi-state region, but changes are coming. I'll show you when rain chances go up and temperatures go down.
Tonight, with school starting and monkeypox spreading to thousands, can kids get vaccinated? We verify. But first tonight, evicted. People living in an apartment complex kicked out because of flooding.
It's nearly impossible to ask that of people and move in that 2-day period.
Their desperate search for answers and a backup plan. Good evening, I'm Ann Allred. Mike Bush has the night off. More on those evictions in a moment. But tonight, business owners in Florissant are pleading for the community's help. Flood damage still has many of their doors closed as the recovery continues. 5 on your side's Mercedes McKay spoke with many business owners today. Mercedes?
And the damage to businesses in Florissant isn't on just one street. The line of shutdown stores actually stretches over 1 mile long. Many business owners told me they lost everything from the floodwaters and they aren't sure when and if they can open their doors again. It's almost like a ghost town in Florissant Meadows Shopping Center.
We're all just completely shut down.
Walking from business to business, all you see are these closed signs and locked doors after rushing water took over this parking lot almost 2 weeks ago.
I've never seen it that bad. Of all the years that I've been here, I have not been through a flood this bad.
You can still see decorations on the walls in Melissa Ingram's yoga studio. The inspirational quotes are really all that's left of the dream business she opened just 4 months ago.
I was devastated and kind of in shock because I didn't know what to do next. And it feels like no one knows what we're supposed to do next.
The water came up all the way to this dark line, leaving Ingram with ripped outlets, walls, and pretty much having to start from scratch.
The water had a current to it, and it was strong enough to shake things off of my shelf and have it fall down into the water. So I lost things that were even up high and safe from water.
It's a similar story just a few doors down at this clothing store. The water actually came up to here, and you can still see some mud left over from the cleanup that still has to be done.
I lost all the shelves, what I have left.
Fan after fan sits on the floor of Dream Modest Fashion, a store Yusuf Jaraba had only had open for 25 days when the flood came.
You're talking about 2 feet inside. I mean, the water here, it'd be more than 4 feet.
Losing 90% of the clothing he was selling in his shop. Now Draba's worried he'll lose more if help doesn't come soon.
If I cannot start working and make money to cover my bills, I'm losing the store, I'm losing my house.
Many of the businesses in that area have GoFundMe set up and are asking the community to help them with their electricity bills. Some of those bills have tripled and quadrupled because of the machines they're using to dry out their spaces.
Mercedes, thank you. A steamy night across St. Louis. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is tracking the possibility of another soaker tomorrow. Ahead of a nice cool down, though, Scott.
Yeah, we are going to get some changes in here as we go through the rest of the week, but that process kicking off a few scattered showers and thunderstorms today. Most of us didn't see a lot of rain, but there were spots and pockets where we did see some. At Lambert, it's pretty quiet right now, but it's warm. Still in the mid-80s at this point. You can see the isolated showers and thunderstorms, but they were a little more widespread down to the south, and there's still a flash flood warning down into parts of Dent and Phelps County. Now, this is a very remote area of Phelps County, really along that dry fork. They didn't get much rain there. It was up the creek, and it doesn't seem like, we just checked with Phelps County dispatch, and they haven't had any reports of any flooding, but technically until midnight there is a flash flood warning there along that dry fork creek. It's in the mid-80s. Dew points are in the low to mid 70s tomorrow. Heat advisory will continue for one more day around St. Louis as your afternoon heat index values top out between 102 and 105 degrees around the metro area. So it's really right in the urban core where that heat advisory has been extended into tomorrow. So we will have less humid air getting in here by midweek as those rain chances return tomorrow. We'll see you in a few minutes, Ann.
Thank you, Scott. Flooding victims in the Metro East flocked to East St. Louis High School today, hundreds showing up again to the Multi-Agency Resource Center seeking assistance. They were able to pick up food and other supplies. The Red Cross has announced 3 additional dates for these multi-agency resource centers for flooding victims. They will be held at the Friendly Temple on Martin Luther King Drive in North St. Louis. The center will be open Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. The church requires face masks. If you are a flooding victim seeking assistance, text the word HELP to 314-425-5355. We will send you a list of resources. You can help those impacted by flooding by making a donation to a charitable organization of your choice through our Give 75 campaign. More information on this partnership with the St. Louis Community Foundation can be found at ksk.com/give75. Developing tonight, the Major Case Squad has been activated in Normandy to investigate a deadly shooting. This happened about 2 hours ago near Natural Bridge in Roland. Police found a man shot to death outside of a shopping center. If you have any information, you're urged to call Crime Stoppers at 866-371-TIPS. Prosecutors have filed murder charges against the man police say confessed to beating his mother to death. 40-year-old Mario Wade faces first-degree murder and armed criminal action charges. According to investigators, Wade got into an argument with his mother Friday morning at the Phyllis Wheatley Apartments in Midtown. He later turned himself in. Tonight, the Illinois State Fire Marshal is investigating after a person was found dead inside of a burning home in Waterloo. It happened this afternoon in the 100 block of Quail Run. The victim's identity has not been released. An autopsy will be performed to determine their cause of death. Also tonight, a Troy, Missouri man is dead after crashing his motorcycle into a car in St. Charles County. This crash happened this afternoon in the area of Highway DD and Highway 94. Police say 34-year-old Michael Arias hit a car head-on and died at the scene. The driver and passenger of the car were taken to the hospital with serious injuries. A scare at a Central Illinois daycare shows kids are not immune to monkeypox. But are they eligible for the vaccine? We verify. Decoding sunscreen labels, the promises and products you can trust to protect your skin.
This break heading our way isn't going to be the end of the heat for the entire summer, but it is going to be a nice break. We're timing out the rain chances that come with it.
Tonight, concerns about monkeypox in a small town in central Illinois. Health officials are screening children exposed to the virus after a daycare worker tested positive. This is in Rantoul, which is about 20 minutes north of Champaign. The painful, blistering virus is often spread through skin-to-skin contact. The Biden administration is under growing pressure for more monkeypox vaccines, which remain in short supply. Our Verify team is looking into who is eligible, and does that include children? Here's Casey Decker.
More than 5,000 people in the United States have gotten monkeypox, but almost none of them have been children. There are vaccines, but as viral posts have pointed out, health departments are severely limiting who they'll give them out to. And while there is no evidence yet to suggest the current outbreak in the U.S. is more severe in children, some other posts say that has historically been the case with past outbreaks of the disease. So with the first American cases in kids confirmed in recent weeks and the school year on the way, some parents are wondering if there are protective measures they can take. So let's verify. Are children eligible for the monkeypox vaccine? Our sources, the CDC, several major city and state health departments, and Allison Messina, the chief of the Infectious Diseases Division at Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital. There are currently 2 monkeypox vaccines available in the U.S., but there isn't a lot of supply of either, and so local health departments are only giving it to those most at risk. Right now, that means men who have sex with men, since they make up the bulk of cases so far. And even within that group, it can be difficult to get the shot as a preventative measure. With few exceptions, health departments are only giving it to people who have been directly exposed to the virus. But if you have been exposed, no matter who you are, you could be eligible for the shot, and that includes children. The CDC told Verify, quote, children and adolescents with exposure to people with suspected or confirmed monkeypox may be eligible for post-exposure vaccination. Dr. Allison Messina says the current eligibility requirements make sense, given that the disease is so far spreading mostly within specific adult groups.
Right now, there's not a big push to provide routine vaccinations for monkeypox for children. Now, that may change if it continues to spread.
So we can verify no, children are not currently eligible for the monkeypox vaccine unless they have been directly exposed to the virus. And right now, one of the 2 vaccines is FDA approved only for adults. With your Verify, I'm Casey Decker.
What can I verify for you? Reach out by emailing verify@ksdk.com. President Joe Biden is out of COVID isolation. The president left the White House today for the first time in more than 2 weeks. He traveled to his home in Delaware. The president first tested positive on July 21st. He later experienced a rebound case of COVID after taking the antiviral drug Paxlovid. The president and First Lady will travel to eastern Kentucky tomorrow to tour the devastation left behind by flash flooding. There is still a lot of summer to go, and if you plan to spend any time outside, you know it's important to wear sunscreen. But what products best protect you? Consumer Reports breaks down those confusing labels. Here's Mike Bush.
Scan a sunscreen bottle and your head may spin from all the different labels. SPF, Sport Reef Safe are among the most common. But what do they all mean? Labels that are most important? Broad spectrum.
Broad spectrum means that a sunscreen will protect against both UVA rays, which are responsible for skin cancer and skin aging, and UVB rays, which are responsible for sunburn and contribute to skin cancer.
Also important, SPF, which stands for Sun Protection Factor, and is a measure of how well a sunscreen protects against sunburn. But what do the different numbers next to it mean? An SPF 100 does not provide twice as much protection as an SPF 50. Instead, SPF 100 blocks 99% of the sun's burning UVB rays, while SPF 50 blocks 98% and SPF 30 blocks 97%. Sunscreens labeled water-resistant means it remains effective for the time stated on the bottle when you're swimming or sweating. Now take terms like reef safe or sport. Neither is a regulated term. Same goes for dermatologist tested.
Some of the labels on sunscreen are just for marketing purposes, and they may not mean what you think they do.
Remember that no matter what sunscreen you choose, what really matters is how you apply it. For lotions, you should use about a teaspoon per body part or area not covered by clothing. And for sprays, apply enough that your skin glistens and then rub it in. Mike Bush, 5 on your side.
Chemical some worry about is oxybenzone, and you might actually see sunscreens labeled no oxybenzone. But Consumer Reports says many sunscreens have been reformulated to no longer contain that chemical compound. The heat is on across the country. Today, more than 70 million Americans were under heat alerts. That includes places like Portland and Seattle, which they're not used to that extreme heat and humidity. Sky Lens 5 capturing people beating the heat at CREVE Lake this afternoon. Several people were out on the water in canoes, kayaks, and paddleboards. Now let's get back to Scott with the latest on tracking some showers, but ready to have a break from the humidity, that's for sure.
You know, that's big thing. The heat and humidity, you know, tomorrow temperatures again low to mid 90s. The humidity's going to be there. It was a hot day over at Busch Stadium today. Of course, the Cardinals are hot right now, as you'll hear from Frank in a few minutes. But, you know, the heat index over at the stadium was right around 106, 107 degrees this afternoon. And of course, we did have a thunderstorm that was just off to the northeast, kind of flirting with the stadium. It didn't do much, though, in terms of rainfall. Now, the rain earlier was down in Dent County. There's still technically a flash flood warning in effect here for Phelps County, but we haven't heard of any reports down that way. And Sheriff's Dispatch says they're not getting any reports. It would be Dry Fork Creek, but that's all the water that fell in Dent County coming downstream. About 3 to 4 inches fell in Dent County. Nothing on the radar screen around St. Louis at the moment. There are a couple of little blips here as you go north of Bowling Green, up towards central Illinois, back towards Kirksville. But that's just a couple of spritzes, and they're not headed towards St. Louis during the overnight hours. It was warm today, no doubt. Temperatures back into the mid-90s. We've only slid back into the mid-80s, and with a partly cloudy sky and the muggy conditions that exist across the area, we're thinking tonight temperatures again will only drop to around 75 to 80 for most of us. So it's going to be another warm start tomorrow morning. That's part of the problem when you get these long stretches of hot weather. 85 degrees right now. Heat index feels like it's 91 because our dew point's still 72. 97 degrees this afternoon. That was our official high in St. Louis. 80 degrees for the low. Now, officially, Lambert did not get any rainfall, but if you were under one of those showers just northeast of the Arch, you might have seen as much as an inch. And of course, as we just mentioned, northwest of Salem, down in Dent County, 3 to 4 inches in a couple of spots. Temperatures mid-70s to around 80 overnight, partly cloudy. Working into your Monday, if you work outside, obviously you're going to stay hydrated, right? We're drinking a lot of water with all this heat. Temperatures are back around 90 degrees as we head towards lunchtime. It will feel like it's closer to 102 to 105. That's the problem as we head through the afternoon hours. There is a chance once we get towards 3-4 o'clock, we might see an isolated shower or thunderstorm pop up. But here's the deal. Look at your future cast here. Warm start tomorrow morning, pretty quiet, generally speaking. It's really not until we get heated up that we see the chance of showers and storms popping. And it still looks like the better chance, at least during the day tomorrow, may actually be just south of St. Louis with some downpours. None of these storms will move all that fast. And this also, even though a cold front's coming in here, some of them, you know, they come through and they plow in. You get strong to severe storms. Really not a severe weather threat with this. It's more of a brief heavy rain threat, and it's mostly late Monday night into Tuesday morning for the metro area. And then we will scoot that area on off to the east as we head through the day on Tuesday. So morning hours Tuesday, unsettled. Then as we go through the day, that front presses on to the south. We start to get the cooler, drier air coming in from the north and west. And as we head into Tuesday night, we really start to see the push of the more comfortable weather sliding our way and the rain chances really dropping off. That air is going to be pulling in from the north and northeast, and that means much less humid weather as we head towards the middle of the week. So the chance for a shower or thunderstorm, it's there tomorrow, mainly later in the day, especially south of St. Louis. And then for tomorrow night into Tuesday, the chances ramp back up. Wednesday on into the weekend looks relatively quiet and seasonable. Average high, 89 now. We've passed the peak heat of the summer in St. Louis.
Woohoo!
At least on average.
We'll take anything we can get, the smallest little inch. All right, thank you so much. Battle of the brands. Buying generic at the grocery store can save you money, while you may not be skimping on quality. Back to our top story tonight. Some residents of the Loop lofts have just hours to pack up and get out. A note from the management company says residents and all of their belongings have to be out by tomorrow. Those tenants affected tell 5 on Your Side's Laura Barczewski they were only given 3 days notice to vacate. Laura?
Yeah, and the letter from the Loop Lofts says residents must vacate because they need to remove drywall in all of the units of the first floor of Building B that were damaged by flooding. But residents tell me they weren't given the option to stay in another unit until repairs were done. They also weren't given the option to stay at another property owned by this company, 2B Residential, and so far have received no assistance to relocate. The letter goes on to say they will be given their deposit back, but only if they sign a release, move out all of their things, and turn their keys in. The people living there say they've been trying to contact the owner and manager for days and haven't received a response, and the office has been closed all weekend. The Missouri landlord-tenant law states a landlord may not evict a tenant without a court order, and goes on to say if the house or apartment you rent becomes uninhabitable through no fault of your own, you're released from the remainder of your lease and not responsible for paying rent if it's destroyed by a natural disaster. Now, Mark Williams says he, his wife, and young daughter have nowhere else to go.
It's very frustrating where you have severe issues that affect your direct family, and the thought of being homeless, and no one wants to answer the phone, no one wants to give you an email, no one wants to have any answers.
I also reached out to the manager and owner of Loop Lofts, and he did not give me a response, but according to their office hours, they are typically closed on Saturdays and Sundays. And
Laura, thank you. Tonight, 9 people are recovering after a mass shooting in downtown Cincinnati. The gunfire broke out early this morning outside a bar. Victims range in age from 23 to 47. All are expected to live. Police believe there were 2 shooters. The mayor says he's putting all of his resources into finding them.
Last night was an absolute tragedy in our city. What took place last night is completely and totally unacceptable.
A police officer who was nearby during the shooting fired 1 shot at a suspect. It's unclear if that individual was hit. Tonight, growing concerns about a possible serial killer targeting Muslim men in Albuquerque, New Mexico. 4 Muslim men have been murdered in the last 9 months. 3 of those murders have taken place in the last week. In all the cases, the victims were ambushed. Police are looking for a vehicle of interest believed to be a Volkswagen Passat or Jetta. Thanks to inflation, almost everything at the grocery store is costing you more. Consumers are now turning to cheaper store brand products to save money. But at what price? The Sensory Lab at The Ohio State University put name brands and generic brands to the consumer test. Most comparisons were virtual toss-ups. Researchers say the differences may be little to non-existent.
So in often cases for generic brands, it's still the name brand that's making them, right? So they're just slapping a different label on it when it comes out of the end of the pipe.
According to industry experts, buying store brands, that can save you up to 25%. Today was the final day of the sales tax holiday in Missouri. All weekend long, shoppers could buy back-to-school supplies, clothing, and computers without having to pay the state sales tax. Some local taxes were also dropped. The annual sales tax holiday in Illinois runs through next Sunday. For more information, just text the word tax to 314-425-5355. Celebrating a frozen favorite without melting your money away. The custard deal's available one day only. There was no stopping the bullet train at the box office this weekend. Missouri native Brad Pitt stars in this action comedy. The film raked in more than $30 million during its opening weekend. Tomorrow is National Frozen Custard Day, and that means you can get some deals on the popular summer treat. Lion's Choice is offering buy one, get one free concretes. You do have to download a coupon from its social media sites. Freddy's is offering free mini sundaes all week long, and Kedrew's is only offering its regular Monday special. That's a jumbo caramel concrete for 60 cents off. That is all of our time for 5 on your side at 10. We hope you start your day with Today in St. Louis beginning at 4 a.m. And here's Frank Cusimano with Sports Plus.